The battle for Mandalore burned red against the night sky. Clone blasters cut through the chaos, while Mandalorian jetpacks streaked across the flames. Anakin Skywalker led from the front, his strikes furious and unrestrained. Each swing of his blade carried not control, but rage. The war had pushed him past the edge, and the darkness was calling. From the shadows above the city, Maul watched. His crimson eyes followed Anakin's movements, like a predator studying prey. "So much anger," he muttered. "So much potential." The former Sith could feel the Force shifting, bending toward the young Jedi. He sensed a storm that could destroy both Jedi and Sith alike. As the Republic forces pressed deeper into the city, Ahsoka Tano fought beside her former master, sensing the turmoil inside him. "Anakin, slow down! You're losing control!" she shouted, blocking blaster fire. He ignored her. His focus was only on ending the fight, ending everything. Maul made his move. As the smoke cleared, he stepped from the ruins, igniting his double-bladed lightsaber. "Skywalker," he said coldly, "I know who you are, and what you're meant to become." Anakin froze. Their blades clashed in a storm of sparks and fury. Maul wasn't trying to kill him. He was testing him, pushing him. With every strike, Maul saw confirmation of his vision. Anakin was the key to reshaping the galaxy. When the duel ended, Maul vanished into the darkness, leaving only his words behind. "Find me when the Jedi fail you." Anakin stood breathing heavily, his saber glowing in the smoke. Ahsoka approached, worried. He didn't answer her. Somewhere deep inside, he already knew Maul was right. The shadow of Mandalore had begun to change him. Smoke still hung over Mandalore as the battle ended. The Republic flag rose above the city, but victory felt hollow. Ahsoka watched Anakin pace through the ruins, his eyes cold, his steps sharp. Every command he gave to the clones came with force, not leadership. She followed him into the war room. "Anakin," she said quietly, "what happened out there with Maul?" He didn't answer. The blue light of the holotable flickered across his face. "He saw what the Council refuses to see," Anakin said. "They're blind, Ahsoka. All of them." Her heart sank. "You're starting to sound like him," she replied. Anakin turned, his voice rising. "I'm nothing like him. I'm trying to end this war before it destroys everything." His anger filled the room like a storm. Ahsoka took a breath, grounding herself. "Then prove it," she said. "Control it, because if you don't, the darkness will control you." For a moment, silence. Only the low hum of the holomap broke the tension. Anakin finally looked away. "You don't understand," he whispered. "I've seen what's coming. The Jedi won't stop it." Ahsoka reached out to him. "Then let me help you." He hesitated, torn between her trust and Maul's words echoing in his mind. "Maybe you already are," he said softly. Outside, thunder rolled across the Mandalorian skyline. The clones prepared for departure, unaware that within this quiet room, the fate of the galaxy was beginning to shift. Ahsoka could feel it. Whatever was happening to Anakin, it was spreading fast. And if she couldn't stop it, the galaxy would soon face a war unlike any before. Night fell over Mandalore. The war was over, but Anakin's mind was still burning. He couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the Council's mistrust, their orders, their limits. Then he heard the voice, smooth, confident, familiar. "You feel it too, don't you?" Anakin turned, his hand instinctively reaching for his saber. Maul stood in the shadows of the hangar, unarmed, calm. "You fight it every day," Maul said. "The rules, the doubt, the leash they keep around your neck." Anakin kept his guard up, but his voice wavered. "You don't know what you're talking about." Maul smiled faintly. "I know exactly what it feels like to be used, Skywalker. I was promised greatness, then cast aside. But you still have a choice." He stepped closer. "You want balance. The Jedi say it means peace. The Sith say it means control. They're both wrong. True balance comes when you embrace both." Anakin's anger flared, but so did his curiosity. Every word Maul spoke cut deeper than he wanted to admit. "You think you can teach me?" he asked. "I can show you what the Jedi fear most," Maul replied. "How to master power without letting it consume you." The hangar lights flickered as a transport lifted off, casting red reflections across their faces. For a moment, they stood in silence, the Force pulsing between them. Anakin didn't strike. He didn't turn away, either. "Meet me tomorrow," Maul said, "if you truly want to understand balance." As Maul disappeared into the shadows, Anakin stared after him, torn between duty and desire. And in that moment, the seed of their alliance began to grow. Far beneath the ruined cities of Mandalore, the training began. Maul led Anakin into the old tunnels once used by Death Watch. It was quiet there, the kind of silence that demanded focus. "Fear, anger, pain," Maul said. "They are not your enemies, Skywalker. They are tools. The Jedi teach you to run from them. I will teach you to use them." Anakin closed his eyes and planned, I mooring, with Brahm, and planned. The Force surged through him like fire and wind. He felt every emotion he'd buried, every betrayal, every loss. Maul pushed him to draw power from it, but never let it rule him. "Control it," Maul whispered. "Shape it. Don't let it shape you." Days turned into weeks. Anakin's skill grew beyond measure. His lightsaber strikes carried the precision of a Jedi and the ferocity of a Sith. He could move through enemies like lightning, focused yet wild, but the lessons had a price. Ahsoka began to notice his absence, the growing coldness in his voice. When she questioned him, he brushed her off. "I'm just training," he said. But even she could feel it. The Force around him had changed. Maul watched proudly as Anakin shattered stone with a single motion of his hand. "You see?" Maul said. "You are balance, not Jedi, not Sith. Something greater." Anakin lowered his saber, breathing hard. "Then what happens when they find out?" he asked. Maul's grin returned. "Then, my apprentice, the galaxy will finally understand what true balance means." Anakin looked toward the stars, beyond the cave entrance. He could feel his old life fading, replaced by something dangerous, something powerful. And for the first time, he didn't fear the darkness, he embraced it. Obi-Wan Kenobi returned to Mandalore, expecting peace. What he found instead was silence and fear. The people spoke in whispers about a Jedi seen training with the Shadow Warrior, the Red Demon with burning eyes. He didn't want to believe it. Not Anakin, not his brother. But the Force offered no comfort. It pulsed with tension, warning him that something beneath the surface had changed. Following the trail into the old Death Watch tunnels, Obi-Wan felt it stronger with every step. The clash of two powerful auras, one light, one dark. At the end of the tunnel, he saw them. Anakin and Maul, training. Not enemies, but partners. Their sabers clashed in rhythm, a deadly balance between fury and control. "Anakin!" Obi-Wan shouted, igniting his blade. "What have you done?" Anakin turned, his face half lit by the crimson glow. "What I had to," he said. "The Jedi taught me restraint. Maul taught me strength." "Maul is using you," Obi-Wan pleaded. "Maybe," Anakin replied coldly. "Or maybe I'm using him." The fight that followed wasn't of enemies. It was of family torn apart. Blades met, walls cracked, and the air burned with Force energy. But Maul intervened, hurling Obi-Wan aside. "You're too late, Kenobi," he hissed. "Your order has already lost him." Obi-Wan barely escaped with his life, racing back to Coruscant to warn the Council. He burst into the chamber, breathless. Anakin has fallen under Maul's influence. We must act now. But as the Masters exchanged worried glances, the holotable flickered. Reports poured in from across the Outer Rim Republic, outposts destroyed, led by a single Jedi commander and an unknown ally. Obi-Wan froze. It was already happening. The war had changed, and Anakin Skywalker was leading it. Coruscant was quiet that night, but the air was thick with deception. Anakin stood before the Senate chambers, his hood drawn low. Maul's words still echoed in his mind. Balance cannot exist while masters rule. Inside the Chancellor's office, Sidious waited. His tone was calm, almost welcoming. "My boy," he said, "you've grown strong. The Jedi no longer serve the galaxy. Join me, and together we will bring peace through power." Anakin didn't bow. "You've been lying to me since the beginning," he said. "You used me, just like they did." Sidious smiled faintly. "And yet you still came." Lightning flashed through the glass walls as their power clashed. Anakin's saber ignited, meeting the crimson blade of the Dark Lord. Their duel tore through the chamber, sparks raining across the polished floor. Sidious struck with speed and cruelty, his laughter echoing, but Anakin's fury was unstoppable. Every betrayal fueled him. Every lie became strength. "I'm done being your pawn," Anakin shouted. With a surge of power, he disarmed Sidious and hurled him through the shattered window. The Sith Lord crashed onto a platform below, wounded but alive. Maul appeared in the chaos, watching from the shadows. "You've done what I couldn't," he said. "You've ended the Sith," Anakin glared at him. "No, I've ended my masters." He turned his saber toward Maul. "The Jedi, the Sith, both will burn if they stand in the way." As the fires of Coruscant reflected in his eyes, Maul realized the truth. Anakin was no longer student or savior. He was something else entirely. And the galaxy would soon learn what balance truly cost. Coruscant burned. Smoke rose above the skyline, mixing with the screams of soldiers and civilians alike. The Senate had fallen, the temple lay in ruins, and the galaxy's capital was no longer ruled by Jedi or Sith, but by Anakin Skywalker. He stood on the balcony of the Chancellor's tower, his robe scorched, his eyes steady. "No more empires," he said. "No more masters." Below, clone battalions marched not under Republic banners, but under his command. Ahsoka arrived through the smoke, her expression torn between horror and hope. "Anakin, this isn't peace," she said. "This is destruction." Maul stepped forward beside her, his tone sharp. "It's rebirth. The Jedi failed. The Sith are dead. Only strength can rebuild what they destroyed." Anakin looked between them. "You both want the same thing," he said. "You just can't admit it." Explosions echoed across the city as the loyalists to Sidious made their final stand. Ahsoka ignited her blades, deflecting blaster fire from clone deserters. Maul's crimson saber cut through waves of guards. Together, the three of them fought like a storm, one of light, one of shadow, and one balanced in between. When the last blast faded, Coruscant's skyline glowed with the fires of revolution. Anakin stood over the fallen Senate chamber, breathing heavily. "The galaxy will know order," he said quietly. Ahsoka looked at him, her voice shaking. "At what cost?" He turned away, his eyes reflecting the burning city. "Whatever it takes," As the sun vanished behind the smoke, Maul smirked. "Then your war has only just begun." And in that moment, the balance Anakin sought began to collapse into something far darker than either Jedi or Sith had ever imagined. The fires of Coruscant had faded, leaving the city world covered in smoke and silence. What was once the shining heart of the Republic now stood hollow and broken. From the highest spire of the ruined Jedi Temple, Anakin Skywalker watched the dawn rise over his new world. Beside him stood Ahsoka and Maul, two opposites bound by his vision. "The galaxy needs order," Anakin said. "Not from fear, not from corruption, from balance." Ahsoka's eyes narrowed. "Balance doesn't come from ruling over others," she replied. "It comes from freeing them." Maul laughed quietly. "Freedom is chaos. You've seen what that brings." He turned to Anakin. "You must lead. Strength is the only peace that lasts." Anakin's jaw tightened. He could feel both their truths pulling at him. "Then maybe strength needs compassion," he said. "And compassion needs control." They gathered the survivors' Jedi outcasts, former Sith followers, clone defectors, and even neutral worlds tired of endless war. Under Anakin's command, they became the New Order, an army of both light and shadow. Their goal was not conquest, but balance through unity. Temples were rebuilt. Star systems swore loyalty. For the first time in decades, the galaxy seemed calm. But whispers spread across the outer rim. Whispers of resistance, of those who saw this new order as another form of tyranny. Ahsoka watched from afar, uneasy. She saw what Anakin couldn't. The same fire that once consumed Sidious now burned in his eyes. One evening, as fleets prepared to depart for peacekeeping missions, she whispered, "You've become what you swore to destroy." Anakin didn't answer. He only looked toward the stars. And in that silence, the fate of the New Order began to fracture, one choice at a time.